Joining me now, Ryan's Previous Communications Director at the RNC, Sean Spicer, joins me on the phone, and CNN political commentator Hillary Rosen also with us. All right, Sean, so you heard that exchange. If the question is so silly, then who is the leader of the Republican Party?
Well, I think the Republican Party has several leaders. Ryan's Previous is the head of the RNC. John Boehner heads up the House Republicans. Mitch McConnell heads up the Senate Republicans. Chris Christie's the head of the RGA. The question you asked, though, Eric, was with respect to responses. And let me go through, just to be clear, what the chairman was saying. When there were several responses that came out, not only on our side, but on theirs. Leader Pelosi put out a statement on the Dem side, Senator Baldwin, Congressman Hoyer, Democrat after Democrat, even Jesse Jackson did an official response to the State of the Union. So there's everybody is putting out a response. That's totally different than a question of leadership. And that's not what you asked. But more importantly, the interesting thing that didn't get asked is every one of the Democrats that put out a statement, from Senator Mary Landrieu to Senator Kay Hagan to Senator Mark Beasley, all of them put out responses to the State of the Union condemning their own president and running away from them as they head into a tough re-election. So the real question, I think, coming after the State of the Union was why were so many Democrats running away from the president?
No, that's an interesting point. And Sean doing his job, trying to spin it around. He's good at his job. Hillary, let me ask you this question, though, because Sean raises a fair point. A lot of people are frustrated with the president and the Democratic Party, and they don't necessarily see him as a key to their victory. But when it comes to 2016, which I think is what this is all about, when I talk about leaderless, the question of leaderlessness in the Republican Party, it's about 2016. With the Democrats in 2016, it appears pretty clear who the leader is. Recent Washington Post ABC News poll, choice for president, Hillary Clinton, 73% of Democrats. I mean, that's a joke. It's not even an issue. But for Republicans, post the Chris Christie Bridgegate scandal, 2016 choice for president, I mean, it's split 5 ways. No one has any idea who they want. Now, that's a big question. My question to you, though, Hillary, is if Hillary Clinton doesn't run, talk about leaderless.
Well, you know, and I agree with you. Sean's good at his job. But and when we look at our side and the presidential nomination, you know, the Democratic talking points will say, oh, we've got a really deep bench and there are lots of great candidates out there. And I am, you know, a personal huge fan of Joe Biden's. But the truth is there's nobody who's going to electrify our party and I think the country the way Hillary Clinton would. And I think that poll reflects that. The interesting thing about the Republican side of that poll that you put up for a couple seconds there is that those candidates actually all represent the multiple factions of the current Republican Party.
Right.
And there is, you know, despite Sean's good spin on this, there were sort of in their minds, the Tea Party folks gave their Tea Party response. You know, Latino Republicans gave their response. There were this sense that they have their own way, and that's what the Republicans are going to struggle with in their primary. Democrats, not so much if Hillary Clinton runs.
Which is an interesting point. But Sean, let me ask you about something else, because I want to go back to the exchange that I had with Reince yesterday, because, you know, I want to make it clear that I didn't see what he said this way, but people on social media did comment that they felt that Priebus was talking down to me as a woman and a new mom. And I wanted to just raise one point. A comment came from a man who describes himself in his Twitter bio as a divorced guy with 3 kids, Navy dad, motorcycle rider, and he tweeted, OutFront CNN, Reince, wow, what a condescending tone toward Erin Burnett, implying she was out of touch because she was on maternity leave. Let me just play that exchange for you right now. Okay, sorry, we don't have that soundbite, so I guess it makes it hard for you to respond to it. I apologize for that, Sean.
I'd be glad to, because
I've read it before.
And I want to emphasize, I didn't see it that way. But this goes to the women's issue, right? That Republicans sometimes say things that they wish they didn't say.
Right. Well, first, let me just say this. Thank you to Hillary for the kind comments. I appreciate both you and her. So I was going to say that before the segment, but I appreciate the kind words. That is very, very nice and close for you to say. With respect to yesterday, and I agree with you, I watched it and I read the transcript, you initially commented that you had been away, and the chairman sort of said, well, I know you've been away, but, you know, but that had nothing to do with why you wouldn't know the following. So I think he was actually agreeing with the sentiment that you had expressed.
Right. Like I said, I didn't take it that way, but I was only, you know, suggesting to you, some people did. I mean, that wasn't alone. So, I mean, it does show there's a sort of people are looking, some people are looking for this issue to arise with the Republican Party.
There's a hypersensitivity to it.
Well, I think it's both parties and the way this country is structured with so many people, that people are looking to hit everybody on every word and every comment they make, and that's kind of the partisan polarization that this country has seen. But I think you're right, and no one took it that way except for some interesting folks on Twitter.
All right. Well, thanks very much to both of you. We appreciate it. And please share your comments with us, as always, on Twitter. Ahead, our special